Yeah.
The, probably all the way back to benefits. I just want to make sure I understand something. Okay, so ever since I've been here, we have $500 a year per person, up front. That's going away.
That is going away. The health reimbursement. The health reimbursement.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that because of now I go to the doctor for a physical once a year? That's 100% paid?
Right. Yeah, your physicals, your preventive care now is covered at 100%. So, which is...
That's kind of in lieu of the 500. That's what we were spending on 500.
Correct. Correct. And I don't know if there were some other thoughts behind removing the HRA, but I know that was one of the things. Yeah, low utilization is another reason. So, yeah.
All preventive is 100%.
Yes.
Is this because of the Affordable Care Act?
Yeah, healthcare reform requires preventive care at 100% unless you're a grandfathered plan. If you're a grandfathered plan, you have the choice of not doing that. But Kentucky State is...
Colonoscopies, mammograms, so...
Yeah, preventive, if they're preventive. Now, if they're coded non-preventive, which, that can happen from the provider, if they're coded with a code that's not considered a preventive code, then, you'll have some problems, but we'll step in and help you if your thought is to be preventive.
And there's, I have to get, this is, getting down in the weeds.
Yeah, that's okay.
I have to get a CT to monitor risk of aneurysm.
Uh-huh.
Is that considered preventive?
Yeah, I don't. Just based on what you're saying, I wouldn't expect that to be preventive.
I'm still going to be.
Because you're using it to monitor a medical.
For my population.
Yeah.
So that's
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I know you got to deal with the overall population.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that. I think that explains it.
Okay. All right then. Oh, yes, ma'am.
This may not apply. This is good for a year, right? Because the reason I'm asking is if in June the Supreme Court strikes down the health care plan, then the 100% preventative coverage won't be in effect. But that won't have any impact on...
Right. If there were any changes, just the way they did with health care reform moving forward, there was a date that starting on this date, here's the law, and then as groups renewed, your benefits changed with the health care reform. So it would be the same going forward, unless they mandate that you have to make some changes right now. And of course, United Healthcare would make those available right away.
Okay, but otherwise this plan is like...
For 1 year.
Solid for a year. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. On dental benefits, those are also July 1 through June 30th. Dental Care Plus. Today you've got 2 dental carriers and 3 different plans offered to you. Dental Care Plus is one of the carriers. They came out with a 12% increase. We were really not able to negotiate or leverage anything with them. The only way we was going to be able to bring down that 12% increase was to make drastic benefit changes, which would really kind of be equal to what you're, less than what you're even receiving Delta Dental. So with that in mind, the decision was made to drop one of the dental carriers. You really don't need 2 dental carriers. So the decision has been made to drop Dental Care Plus and then move everything to Delta Dental. Delta Dental came out with a flat 0% increase. So, and then we made a few benefit modifications. Some of those are enhancements, some are not, but overall cost actually went under current. So we were able to do a lot with Delta Dental. So we're moving everything to Delta Dental, and the majority of the employees are already on Delta Dental. So it's not a big impact, or going to be a big impact. Also, we're going to be offering 4-tier rates this time with Delta Dental instead of 3-tier. And what that means is if you only want to cover yourself and 1 or 2 or 3, 4 children, then it's a lower rate than family. Today, if you cover more than 1 person, then you have to go to the family rate. Now, if you only want to cover you and your spouse or you and your children, you have that opportunity to do that, and it'd be a lower rate than having to pay the family rate. So that was another enhancement that we did. So here's the benefits that we'll go through, and so I'll point out just the changes for you. And you've got a Delta Dental packet. The detailed benefit summary is in your packet. The benefits to the left are your current, and to the right are what we are moving to with the changes highlighted in yellow. So today, if you're in network on the PPO plan, you don't have a deductible in network. You do have a deductible out of network. What the Benefits Committee decided to do was just go ahead and put a deductible there. It's a small deductible, whether it's in or out of network. So there's a single deductible of $25 and a family deductible of $75. And this will be what's considered your core dental plan. So your core, the lowest paid, what comes out of your paycheck is this plan. And then we have a buy-up plan that has richer benefits, some richer benefits. Also now you have a maximum rollover, and what that means is your annual maximum for dental is $1,000. That's pretty standard, and that's what you have today. Since maximum rollover has been added, you now have the opportunity to roll over some of your remaining balance if you don't use it all, and most of us don't use it. So we got that added. We also changed the dependent age to 26. Today it's 19 and 23. You have to be a full-time student to have benefits now on the current plan. So if you've had to drop your dependent because they reached the dependent age and they're not in school, if you want to add them back on today and they're under the age of 26, you can do that. And then for orthodontia, today on this plan, that is covered. It's covered with caps. It's not covered. It's not rich benefits, but you have some coverage. On the core plan, we're removing the orthodontia benefit, but we're adding it to the buy-up plan. So you do have those benefits if you want them.
To the what plan?
To the height buy-up plan, which we're going to go to next. You've got the PPO. You've got a benefit summary for PPO, and then you've got a benefit summary for PPO plus Premier, and the Premier is your buy-up plan. And here's the Premier plan with the changes highlighted in yellow. So on this plan, again, we're adding the maximum rollover benefit, increasing the dependent age to 26. Today, the prosthodontics are not covered at all. They will be covered under major services going forward at 50% after your deductible. And then your orthodontia has been added back to this plan. So you have orthodontia coverage here.
So that would be like on this sheet, that's Delta Dental PPO Plus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. The one where the paycheck deduction is a little higher, it's higher, that's the one that's the PPO Plus. Yeah. And then...
It only says $3 higher.
I'm looking at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the dental rates are listed here for you, your employee per month and per pay. Of course, you have those at your desk, in your packet too. So that is your dental. Any questions on dental? Okay. Next is vision. For vision, there's not any changes to the carrier. It's through Spectera, which is part of United Healthcare. So no change to the carrier and no change in the rates. So everything stays the same for vision. And I just have real quick what the high-level coverages are. They're pretty standard, but you can get an exam every 12 months. You can get your lenses for your glasses every 12 months and your frames every 24 months. Or if you want contacts instead of glasses, you can get those every 12 months. Your copay to get your eyes examined is $20. And then if you want the glasses with the frames, there's a $20 copay for your lenses, and those are your standard lenses. If you want some additional bells and whistles to your lenses, those are extra, but you do get discounts for those. And there's a detailed summary in your United Healthcare packet on the vision. But if you want, and then the frame allowance is $130, or if you prefer to get contacts, then your allowance for that is $105. So that's your vision. That's what it is today. Here are your rates, which is exactly what it is today. So no changes on that. Okay, we're going to talk about life and accidental death and dismemberment. Yes? Yeah. Right there?
And I can choose employee and spouse on this and choose family.
You sure can.
Okay.
That's a good question. On each of the benefits, you can pick and choose.
Sorry, because this is through UHC, I guess.
Yep. But if you're medical, if you want the medical to be you and your family and you want to cover the entire family for vision, you can do that. Okay, for your life and accidental death and dismemberment, that's AD&D, what that stands for, we've got a new carrier, which is Unum. Today, you have that coverage through Cigna. And these are really benefits that a lot of times you really even forget you have. Life insurance is not something we talk about all the time. And, you know, when you think about it, how many claims do you have for life insurance? One, right? So it's not something you're calling somebody on every day. So we always like to remind everyone what you have, and especially here because you've got some nice benefits that are paid for you by Kentucky State University. But we did change the carrier because we got some better rates and some increased benefit features that I want to talk to you about. Okay, just on the company-paid life, Kentucky State University pays for you life insurance in the amount of $50,000 and also accidental death and dismemberment at $50,000 at no cost to you. So you do need to go online, and we're going to talk about enrollment in a little bit, but you do need to go online and just say that you want that. You need to list who your beneficiary is. We'll talk about that. But this is a company-paid benefit, so when you go online and do it, you'll see that zero is coming out of your paycheck for this. And this is a nice amount. We do see a lot of employers that offer benefits and pay for it, but usually not at this amount. So if it's a death, it's $50,000. Should you die as a result of an accident, another $50,000. Now, if you suffer from dismemberment or a disability, which is the AD&D part, then you can receive, depending on what disability or dismemberment you have, either the full amount or partial amount. And that's listed here, and it's also on your benefit highlight sheet too. So this is a very nice benefit, again, paid for by Kentucky State University. In addition to the company-paid life insurance that you have, you can also enroll in voluntary. So if you want some additional life insurance for you and your family, then you can enroll in that also. And this is a nice way to get some additional benefits at good group rates, pennies on the dollar. And so it is a term policy, so there's some things about term policies that I want to talk to you about, what it means, but it's a good, cheap way to have benefits as an employee. So for yourself, in addition to your $50,000 that's paid for, you can request up to 5 times your annual salary in $10,000 increments, not to exceed $500,000. And you can do that, no questions asked, no medical questions asked. Since we've changed carriers to Unum, it's a full open enrollment. So this is your opportunity to get additional life insurance and not have to answer medical questions and maybe be turned down because of a medical condition that you have. For your spouse, they can receive up to the amount that you elect in $5,000 increments. So if you elect an additional $100,000, your spouse can get an additional $100,000 if they want to. And that's a change. A lot of times carriers will only let the spouse get 50% of the amount that the employee elected. So you can get the same amount if you want. Yes, ma'am.
Is this just accidental death versus life insurance in general?
No, this is life insurance. You can also get additional accident insurance, accidental death and dismemberment insurance too. But this is everything. Exactly. Yep. And then for your child, you can get up to $10,000 for your child. So in additional coverage. And then, like I said, to your point that you just asked, you can also purchase additional AD&D benefits, accidental death and dismemberment, and pay for that extra. Those would come out of your paycheck if you want any of the additional coverages. Why purchase additional life insurance? Well, it's a guaranteed issue. Right now, during open enrollment, since we're changing carriers, you can purchase a significant amount of coverage and not be asked any medical questions. So again, yourself up to $150,000, that's the guarantee issue. Spouse is $25,000, your children is $10,000. Now, there is Unum also allows you to purchase what they call a minimum policy protection plan, where on voluntary, if you purchase the minimum amount here, then next year, if you want to increase it, you can increase it with no questions asked. Well, why is that important? Well, this year, if you're the employee and we would encourage everyone, if you're thinking about this, to go ahead and purchase $10,000. The minimum for an employee is $10,000. And if you purchase $10,000 additional this year, and God forbid, in 6 months, you're diagnosed with cancer, which means you're at that point not insurable anymore. Next open enrollment, if you're still able to be working, if you're working, you can get up to $150,000 and not have to answer medical questions and be turned down because you've just been diagnosed with cancer. The same thing for your spouse. The minimum that your spouse would need to purchase is $5,000, and for your child, $2,000. So if you purchase those minimum coverages now, then either next open enrollment or any open enrollments the years after, you can get up to the larger amounts with no questions asked. So that's something to think about. Strictly your decision whether you want to do that or not. But we've seen many people that have not elected coverage and then something happened and they'd be diagnosed with something terrible, and then you're basically not insurable anymore after that, and you can't get the coverage. This is a benefit feature that is not offered today with Cigna and that I haven't seen with any other carrier. So this was one of the main reasons why we wanted to move this here, for this and because of the cost. Your coverages are both portable and you can convert it. So if you leave here, you can take it with you. And that's a nice feature too. I always hit the wrong button. Just a few things to make note of. Your term life policies is your general, your industry standard term policies. So that means that the rates are age banded, and every 5 years you go into a new age band, which means your rates will increase some every 5 years. That's standard. There's what is called a delayed effective date. So if you're the employee and you are not at work on July 1. Now, we're not talking faculty or really faculty who's not here because they're not teaching and you're not physically working on July 1 because of that reason. We're not talking about that. We're talking about if you're out due to a illness or injury or disability. So if you are, you would become effective on the day you return to work. For dependents, if you have a dependent that's totally disabled, then there's a delayed effective date for dependents totally disabled. They would become effective on the date that they're no longer considered disabled, if that time comes. Otherwise, your dependents that are totally disabled would not be eligible. Just like with any other term life policy, you have an age reduction schedule, but this reduction schedule is better than what we had with Cigna. So when you turn age 65, your benefit amount reduces to 65%, and then when you turn age 70, it reduces to 50%, but it doesn't reduce any more after that. Currently today with Cigna, it reduces again to 35% when you reach age 75, I think. So that's another feature that is better than what you've got today. And those are typical term policies. They all work the same way. Any questions on the life insurance? You will enroll with that online. Again, we're going to talk about that in a second. Be sure that for your company pay policy, you list your beneficiary. We want to get new beneficiaries. Even if you've decided on one or got one for Cigna, we're doing everything brand new, so we're basically starting over. List your beneficiary. If you elect a dollar over the guarantee issue amount, then you will be prompted to complete an evidence of insurability. And that's just a medical questionnaire where you answer questions, and then you have to be approved for anything over the guarantee issue amount. And all that will